Good morning, friends. Welcome to today's video post. I want to pass along a teaching today that is very central to our suffering or our not suffering, and that is the teaching of the second arrow. The Buddha talked about that life can be difficult, and of course, we know that from our own lives. And that's just how it is. Sometimes we stub our toe, or just things don't go the way we want them to, or the weather isn't how we like it. So there are these difficulties. We have challenges with other human beings. Just part of the mix of life. And this is dukkha in its kind of in its form of just not quite right, as a common characteristic. It's just not really the way we want it, and this just happens. And it's not necessarily tied to suffering. It's not wed automatically to suffering. These things can happen, and we cannot suffer over them. We can understand them and experience them as, wouldn't prefer this. It's unpleasant. We stub our toe, very unpleasant, etc. But the mind can be okay with it. Like it can have the right view that this is how things are sometimes, and there's not that resistance. There's not that fighting, and there's not. In the teaching of the second arrow, there's not the second arrow. So things happening that are challenging, that's the first arrow. The second arrow is when the mind then resists that and has aversion towards that, craving. So we have what's difficult just to begin with, and then if we're not mindful of it and the mind goes into reactivity, then the second arrow comes and makes it even worse. And then we experience dukkha in its suffering form. So starting with dukkha, and it's just a common characteristic. All things are unsatisfactory to our deep happiness, and that's just how it is. And these things happen, not necessarily a problem. If the view isn't clear, if the mind goes into reactivity based on that happening, based on these challenging things happening, then the second arrow comes in and we experience dukkha in its suffering form. And know about that as well. And of course, besides the correct view that knows that life includes challenging things, sometimes it's very easy, sometimes it's joyful, the way we like it, sometimes it's difficult, not joyful. The way we don't like it. To the degree that that view is correct is to the degree that we won't go into reactivity. Also, mindfulness, knowing in that moment, clearly knowing, sati sampajanya, that this is what's happening now, this is how it is, this is unpleasant, this is challenging, etc. The clarity of that knowing, along with the wise view, together work to help the mind from being reactive, getting shot with the second arrow and experiencing suffering. Let's go ahead now and do the formal practice and cultivate just that mind state of mindfulness that is supportive to this practice. Let's get into a posture that we will meditate in. Could be sitting on the floor, could be sitting in a chair, could be standing. Maybe even you're walking back and forth as you listen to this. Letting the eyes gently come to close. Bringing the intention, cultivating the intention, clear intention to be mindful, to be present, that this is what we're doing right now. very helpful to bring that clarity to mind at the beginning of the sitting period. And we invite the body to soften and relax, starting with the eyes, and then just flowing downwards through the face and jaw, the shoulders, the belly. Sinking down into contact with what's below, contact with the earth. It can be helpful to have a sense of the body not only softening, but widening or opening. Checking to see that we're connected with the body somatically, meaning there are sensations we can point to that we feel right in the moment. Could be places where the body is in contact with something. We can also feel sensations in parts of the body, perhaps where it's not in contact with something. It's not so important what we feel or where we feel it, but that we feel. Every moment of the attention connected with the sensations of the body is a moment of mindfulness, a moment of present time awareness. Relaxation is an ongoing process, not just something we do at the beginning of a sitting. It's part of how we be aware. Is the body as soft and relaxed as can be? It's a mindfulness exercise, this being aware of the soft body. And with the attention embodied, we can begin to pick up the sensations of the breath, remembering that these sensations are not separate from the sensations of the body, just part of the body, so that what we're actually feeling is called the breath body. It's just one thing, one field of sensations. The rhythmic in and out breathing of the body is helpful in allowing the body to deepen in calm. And as the body calms, If the attention, or to the degree the attention stays with that process, then the mind begins to calm. The body and the mind begin to become unified. The attention unifies with the object, in this case, the sensations of the breath body. And this unification is the beginning of samadhi, of concentration. But we don't have to worry about that. Only feel into, experience, support the deepening of calm in the body. And the rest unfolds quite naturally. I hope that short practice period was calming for you. It was for me. And I noticed this can be interesting for you to look at in your practice, perhaps. I noticed it was about time to ring the bell, but it was quite calm and, of course, pleasant. And the mind was going, oh, just a little bit longer, just, wanting more, noticing that little bit of craving coming in. The teaching of the second arrow is really helpful because it is so central to our, day-to-day life. So when you find yourself being reactive, which means the second arrow is happening, you just notice the second arrow, look and see what is it that is happening that you didn't like or don't like and are starting to get reactive about. This is just very parallel to Friday's teaching on, not having control. And when I said, notice when you're suffering and look to see if there's something that's happening that you can't control, that you don't like. Basically, the same mechanism of mind, just two different teachings looking at it from just slightly different angles, but really it's the same thing. So notice when you're suffering or you're being reactive and look and see what's happening that you don't like. Very good practice. Okay, friends, that's it for today. I wish you today the heart and mind that is not reactive and open and can meet life just as it is. and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.